school districts to go back to in-person learning. Cooper noted that research done right here in North Carolina shows in-person learning that is already happening is working safely around the state. Although in-person learning was encouraged, the governor noted that students who want to continue remote learning should be able to, but hopes to get more students back into schools sooner rather than later.
When the pandemic first hit in March, we moved to remote instruction to keep people safe from this virus that we knew little about. We asked science and public health experts to develop safety plans to help students continue learning, whether they were in the classroom or at home. Learning has continued. Educators, parents, and students have persevered. We've learned much more about this virus. And now it's time to get our children back into the classroom.
So here's some good news for you. Cone Health is now opening up a COVID vaccination clinic. They're going to do that in Burlington later this week. The clinic will be open Thursday and from about 8 to noon every day, they hope. It'll be at the Burlington Manufacturers Outlet Center off of Corporation Parkway. And appointments, by the way, you have to have that to get the vaccine. Cone Health will also be moving their COVID testing center to that same site on Thursday, but tests will only be done from 2 to 5 p.m. every Monday through Friday. Appointments are also required for testing.
I'm tracking a couple lower than normal days when it comes to our state's coronavirus cases. The state says it learned of just 2,926 new cases in the past day. Now that's the lowest number that we've seen since the week of Christmas. Even yesterday, we saw just shy of 3,800 cases. It's important to note here, our state has been performing fewer tests the past couple of days, but you'll see that our percent positive has also been down, and that's good. That means even though we're performing fewer tests, the percentage that come back positive is still on par with where we've been.
President Joe Biden is getting a bipartisan endorsement of his pandemic relief plan, and it's coming from more than 400 mayors across the country, including some right here in the Triad. Greensboro and Winston-Salem's mayors signed a letter from the United States Conference of Mayors endorsing Biden's COVID-19 relief plan. Biden's administration proposed a $1.9 trillion stimulus package. The mayors hope the letter would lead to congressional support for direct financial assistance to U.S. cities.
We've lost a lot of revenue by not having our venues being used, like the Greensboro Coliseum. So, there's $7.5 million that we've lost in revenue alone, which will have an impact on our bottom line.
Mayors of 11 other North Carolina cities also signed that letter, including the mayors of Raleigh, Durham, and Charlotte.
All right, let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. First up, rapid COVID-19 home tests are getting a big boost from the Biden administration. The White House says the Department of Defense inked a more than $230 million deal with Illume, the maker of those rapid tests. The agreement will allow it to open a U.S. factory and produce 19 million tests a month. The tests are the first coronavirus rapid tests that don't require a prescription. Michigan health leaders say their number of active cases of the virus have gone down 60% in the last month. On December 30th, there were more than 157,000 cases. On Saturday, cases were under 63,000. Researchers say increased restrictions over the holidays might have prevented more than 100,000 cases in the state. Is the GameStop craze over? The company's stock slumped 30% yesterday as online brokers like Robinhood kept some buying restrictions in place. Some traders on social media insist hedge funds are also trying to manipulate the stock price lower and divert attention to other companies.
W-I-N-D-Y, windy. That's the big story today. Not only is it cold, but that wind chill makes it feel a whole lot colder than it actually is. But we have seen a little bit of sunshine peeking through at times today, and that is a good sight to see. We have a couple more dry days on the way. Take a look at this. Wind still gusting anywhere to 25 to 30 miles per hour, even some higher gusts than that we've seen over the last few minutes. Winds gusting right now to 30 miles per hour in Winston-Salem and in Greensboro. Of course, you take a look at the temperatures, they're in the mid and upper 30s, but you factor in that wind chill and it feels like it's freezing or below, and you can probably even hear that wind whipping around right now in our weather garden. I was going to show you what it looked like over the Triad, but that doesn't seem to be working at this moment. Things are pretty quiet on the radar. We have seen just a few flurries flying around today, or even a few sprinkles, but that's about it. We really have some dry air in place, and that makes it hard for that precipitation to make it down to the ground. Really not a whole lot going on across the state. Things are finally starting to dry out, and the clouds will clear out as we head into your Wednesday. We'll keep some clouds around overnight, but heading into your Wednesday, it'll be the first day in quite some time that we've seen that bright, beautiful sunshine and that Carolina blue sky. Temperatures tomorrow will top out in the mid and upper 40s, but it's still going to be a breezy day of weather. We could have gusts around 25 miles per hour, which will make it feel like it's in the 30s at times tomorrow, but every little bit of warmth does help. The next 2 days are nice, a little bit warmer on Thursday. I think we will cross that 50-degree mark, but heading into your Friday, we're going to be watching another system on the way with our next chance for rain. We'll dive into those details and show you that 7-day forecast coming up.
As we all spend time reflecting on the courageous acts of the Greensboro Four, one woman looks back at her close connection to the events of February 1, 1960. Taylor McCain is the granddaughter of Franklin McCain, one of the A&T students who started the movement, but she says her grandfather didn't talk about that day too often. Most people know Franklin McCain as a civil rights activist, one of the Greensboro Four who started the sit-in movement on February 1, 1960. But Taylor McCain knew him as Granddaddy and learned about what happened 61 years ago at school.
So I saw it in a textbook, and when I saw it in a textbook, I saw my last name, and I'm like, what the heck? And then you see a picture, and you're like, oh, this is my granddad. It matched the pictures that I was seeing in the house and in our home. So it was just a time like when all your peers are learning about it, and you're in elementary school, and it's just kind of like, wow, this is a part of me. I'm a part of the McCain legacy, and being able to see that in a textbook and now in museums is just crazy.
Taylor says her grandfather taught her much more than you can find in an elementary school textbook or a museum exhibit. He made sure his grandchildren knew how to make a change in their community, just as he did.
He didn't want us to wait for the masses, and so that's one thing that I think that we have to continue to do, is not wait for the masses, but we need to react and be strategic and thoughtful of our reactions that we make in order to be able to see the changes that we want to see.
Each year on the first day of February, Taylor reflects on the courage of her grandfather, and she's glad to see others still doing the same.
Just being able to see how the picture of the Greensboro Four circulated across the country yesterday on every February 1 shows that Greensboro is making a difference. They are setting the tone for how we can be history makers.
Years ago, Taylor saw her grandfather's legacy in a history book. Today, she sees it as a call to action.
I think that what they did is an example that no one is too young to act. No one is too young to act, and everyone's way of acting is different.
So when I was talking to her today and she told that story about just finding out by reading about it when her classmates in a textbook, I was blown away. But she said that her grandfather really focused on how they can make a change and how they can have their own legacy moving forward rather than what he started back on February 1 in 1960.
I just can't even imagine, being the descendant, being a relative to someone who has such an impact on our country, and to have February 1st every year come around, and she says she gets to see all the pictures and the posts. It must be really special to especially remember her grandfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also about when she said that it doesn't matter, you're not too young to make a difference. That's such a important statement to deliver, because I think when we're younger, a lot of times you think like, well, we're not quite there yet. We can't really make a difference, but you can, and he's a perfect example of that.
Yeah, and Taylor and I were talking a little bit after the interview too, and I said, I just cannot imagine being 17, 19 years old and doing something so brave. And she looked at me and she said, Maddie, we were at a UNC orientation because we actually went to college together and we were there the same weekend for orientation. I said, that is wild, Taylor. She says, yeah, when I learned about that, it was hard to put myself in his shoes, but just admires his bravery every single year, every single day.
We'll be right back.
So, you know, most of us, we're familiar with Habitat for Humanity. We know what they do. They build homes and help people that need a little lift get into and be a homeowner for the first time. It's pretty cool. Well, their next build is something just a little bit different. It's an annual build that really in today's world means even more. I spoke with Communications Director Christine Bird to get the details.
Christine, I heard about this recently, and the Women Build, it sounds like such a cool idea, and especially in these times, you know. Tell me what it is and how it all works.
Absolutely. The Women Build is a national initiative of Habitat for Humanity International, and it's an opportunity for women to come together and help their local community by building safe, stable, and affordable housing for those who need that option.
And you know, I mean, let's talk about, one thing I love about Habitat is, you know, you don't have to be a builder. You don't have to know everything to do. They'll help you out with this. So I think a lot of people might be intimidated, and not the case, right?
Absolutely not. So we welcome volunteers with all levels of building experience. Our site superintendents are wonderful instructors, and they love to help people learn about construction and gain the confidence to be able to do small projects in their own home, or come together as a team to help build affordable housing for someone else in our community.
And don't you think in these times, and we've been talking about, you know, uplifting people and whether it's racial issues or gender equality, I mean, it's important now to do this more than ever.
It absolutely is. The Women Build, it has been an ongoing initiative of Habitat for Humanity. We are all about social equity, and the way to that is through affordable housing. So being able to bring women together to create affordable housing, especially for a single mom in our local community, there's just no greater program or project that I can think of that celebrates women in this way and helps create equity in our community.
It's an awesome project. Christine, thanks for taking time out today. We appreciate it. Good luck with all this.
It is a great project. It's a great thing they do. If you've ever been part of any type of Habitat build, it's such a great feeling when you're helping out. And then also, you know, when you have a moment, go to their website or their Facebook page, and I'll link you to that from our story on WFMYnews2.com. But they have some great videos and really touching stories about how they really make a difference in families' lives.
Always cool to see the Women's Build happen. Really, any Habitat build. My favorite part is when we get to go, when the family sees their house for the first time. Sometimes they give us a little heads up so we can be there early and get their reaction. It is always great to see.
Especially when they get that key, right? And they get usually like a little gift basket, and here's your home. I mean, it would be so. Have you guys ever done a Habitat for Humanity? I've never actually taken part in a build.
Done a couple of stories on them, but never actually done the grunt work.
What was that like, Eric?
I've done one, and I believe me, I can barely hang a picture in my house. So I got out there and I was worried about it, but they walked me through everything, and it's such a great feeling. But yeah, Maddie, I mean, Chad, you're right. That bus driver moved that bus moment is so cool if you can see that in person.
I went on a church mission trip a few years ago. Well, it was many years ago now. It was when I was in high school. And we did do some of that building, and you just feel so good for the things that you're doing, because you know that someone who really needs it is going to get it and hopefully appreciate it.
You see the fruits of your labor.
Absolutely.
As it happens. All right, 4 to 5 is heading to break. Did you know we're live on Facebook?
I did know. I'm there right now. Come say
Chilton,
hello.
I haven't seen you in the chat section
Chilton.
yet. Not trying to put you on blast, but you know.
I'll go.
I'll be right back. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. So doctors around the country are starting to notice a new trend with the coronavirus. Patients are developing diabetes while they have the virus. Now researchers are trying to figure out if the virus is causing the disease. So let's connect the dots for you.
Although COVID-19 is known for attacking the lungs, a disturbing range of symptoms have been tied to the virus, including blood clots, heart damage, and even neurological disorders. Now, according to information published in the journal Diabetes, Obesity, and Metabolism, over 14% of people hospitalized with severe COVID-19 developed diabetes. Some of the patients had no pre-existing risk factors for the disease. Right now, researchers say they can't prove a direct link between COVID-19 and these new diabetes cases, but they are definitely investigating. Cases of both type 1 and type 2 diabetes have been reported. Type 1 is when your body can't make the insulin needed to control blood sugar. Type 2 is when your body makes too little or becomes insulin resistant. They're also investigating if COVID-19 has created an entirely new type of diabetes that works differently. There are also questions about whether these diagnoses are permanent. Other viruses like SARS have been linked before to new cases of diabetes, but in that instance, blood sugar levels for most patients return to normal within 2 years. Meanwhile, researchers continue to collect data on coronavirus and diabetes in the hope of getting answers.
All right, weather-wise across the Triad, it's a cold and blustery day. Those winds have been gusting as high as 35 or 36 miles per hour at times this afternoon. But I want to start with some good news because February is a big month of change in the weather world. Take a look at where our sunset is today, about 5:46 or 5:47. By the time we get to the middle of February and the end of February, our sunsets are back after 6 o'clock, even close to 6:15. So we gain a lot of daylight and our average temperature increases quite a bit as we go throughout the month too. Not too much happening on the radar. There have been a few sprinkles and a few flurries flying around today, but that generally has been about it. Most of those are now down to our south and things are continuing to fizzle out. Take a look at these max wind gusts. We had a 37 mile per hour gust in Greensboro earlier today, a 33 mile per hour gust in Winston-Salem, and winds are still gusting around 30 miles per hour at this time. You can see those flags blowing very strongly in the breeze there over downtown Burlington. In fact, this one flag was tattered and torn earlier. They've already had that changed out, sitting at 46 degrees in Greensboro and upper 30s to right around 40 in most of the Triad. But you factor in that breeze, makes it feel like it's in the 20s and low 30s. It's a cold day of weather. Now, this is a strong area of low pressure. That's our system that brought the rain and some of that freezing rain concern over the weekend well off to the northeast. But there's strong high pressure on the heels of that ready to build in. And those strong temperature and pressure contrast make for the windy day that we have today. Meanwhile, pulling in a lot of that cold air from the north. High pressure will continue to build in and will bring the sunshine back for a couple days. A cold night in store, temperatures dropping down into the mid-20s. And again, it's going to be breezy, so you factor in the wind, likely feeling like it's in the teens at times tonight and through early on your Wednesday morning. Now, we do bring a lot more sunshine back. We warm up a bit into the mid-40s tomorrow, but it's still going to be breezy with wind gusts around 25 miles per hour. So while it will be warmer, it's still going to feel like it's in the 30s heading into tomorrow afternoon. But we do have a couple more dry days on the way. I think by the time we get to Thursday, we'll finally get back over that 50-degree mark. Watching another system headed our way on Friday. Going to bring us some rain, but not too much to worry about. And then another system heads our way on Sunday. It might be some rain, might be some snow. It's really too early to tell right now, but I think temperatures are likely to be well above freezing. Cold and dry heading into next week.
$175,000 children in America. And it would expand the child tax credit from $2,000 to $3,000 and $3,600 for kids under the age of 6.
Hey, some good news for winter lovers and bad news for people hoping for spring. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow this morning, predicting 6 more weeks of winter. But remember, as I posted on my Facebook page today, he's just a rodent, not a meteorologist. Some might say the same about Christian Morgan. The annual Pennsylvania tradition was virtual this year thanks to the pandemic. Sorry, Christian.
Why did you have to come to me after that, Chad? Oh my gosh. All right. So I decided to ask, we love you, Christian. We really do. I decided to ask you on Facebook, what animal other than a groundhog would you want to predict the weather in the triad? And here are some of your answers. Let's take a look. I'm still shell-shocked. Ben says, hey, look, could you at least consult a local animal instead of one 500 miles away? That's a very good point. Betty Wilburn says, a goat. Now, her story was cracking me up. She said, but there was once a goat locally named Lulu who would go to the barn if snow was coming, and the county school superintendent, based on Lulu's actions as to whether to call off school or not, she said worked every time. Have never heard that story, and Betty, find me some people I can talk to about that. Judy says, birds. They always know when bad weather's coming. They've been really hitting my bird feeder lately, so she thinks there's more snow on the way. And then Claire says, a possum. They're so cute and eat fleas and ticks. I've never heard someone say a possum was cute, but there's always a first time. And Jenna, I love hers. One word, squirrel. That's all she said. That's the animal.
I love that.
Poor Christian.
I'm sorry. You know, Christian, it's called hazing. You're the newest
and it's
meteorologist.
Illegal.
Sorry. Well, it is
that's
illegal.
the
extent
not at
of
Chad
it.
University. It's not.
I love how he said that at the exact moment when I did not have an opportunity to respond. I only
I
now
know.
have the opportunity to respond minutes later. So
I'm sorry.
I'm just gonna.
But like in my defense, we were getting ready before the newscast, and I said, Christian, I have a really good burn in the newscast, and I really hope you're okay with it. He's like, all right, just say it.
But Chad, you and I had a conversation last night, and this was a valid conversation. We were talking about the groundhog, and we never really thought about it before, but we were wondering what a groundhog actually sounds like. And we figured it out. They make some weird whistling noise.
And Julie Luck is not, she's not very good at it, but she thinks that she is. And she does this like high-pitched noise. She's going to get mad at me.
Another
now. So
person
everyone's
who's not
gonna be
here
mad
to
at me
defend
today.
themselves.
Well, that's what happens when you insult people, Chad.
Oh, no, I didn't insult Julie. She was doing her best to come up with this noise. Do you remember what it was like, Christian?
It was like a whistle, like a, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've heard her do that. I know what that is.
Well, my mother and I think that we have some kind of strange gift in that we can always see groundhogs, like when they're out and about on the side of a road, or not alive. They're alive,
okay.
not dead. But we always see them. We like whenever there's a groundhog around, my mom and I see it. I don't know. Maybe
That's an interesting
I
bond
think
that you have.
it's a genetic thing.
Isn't a groundhog the same as like a hedgehog or a?
No.
It's the same as
Chipmunk.
something.
No.
No, no, no,
I don't know.
I'm Googling.
no. It's not. We are going to break because we have gone off the rails, and we will be right back. No more insults.
On? There it is. It was already on. I was about to say, should be working. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Guess what, guys? I have popcorn.
I see groundhogs. Is that kind of like it? Like she sees dead people, but she sees groundhogs? I see groundhogs. Maddie sees groundhogs.
I want it.
Birthday cake.
This has something to do where
Birthday cake.
our mics are up.
Hey there, Facebook. So Jalen is doing a story on a place called Something Borrowed here in a couple of minutes, and we got some popcorn flavor. So cotton candy, lemon pound cake, strawberry cheesecake,
Ooh, white cheddar.
Oreo, candy. Thanks, Vanna. Candy confetti, candy cane.
That's interesting.
Gingerbread, hot wings and ranch,
Hot
baked
wings
potato,
and ranch.
salt and vinegar, birthday cake.
Hot wings and ranch sounds so interesting.
We're gonna eat some of that.
Here comes Christian Morgan, our favorite
I'm gonna
rodent.
eat some of it.
You're blocking the view.
Oh.
We love you. Come back. I'm just terrible. We love you. 30 out. I'm so sorry.
Okay, here we go. We're 30.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5, 30 more minutes ahead of fun here. I'm Eric Chilton, joined by Maddie Gardner, Chad Silver, and I was so close to another rodent joke, but I'm not. Christian Morgan is here as well. We're going to have a great time today.
I feel like I've overstayed my welcome. You know, I think that you guys were really excited last Friday to have me here.
Day
now
3.
It's
3
Tuesday,
days.
and you're wondering when I will be gone.
You're like that crazy uncle that shows up every now and then.
That's true. You know what? And I deserve that after all the things that I said about you in the last segment.
So folks on Facebook, let me know when I need to actually get a whistle so I can referee these 3.
Oh, Chad.
The time has passed already.
Chad, I found out woodchuck is the same thing as a groundhog. I Googled
Woodchuck.
There's no way.
Yes.
How much wood?
It is. That's
woodchuck.
another name for it.
Okay. All right.
All right, so you know that we are live streaming on Facebook, and if you are watching us during the break, you already know about this next story. You got to check it out. Small business owners, of course, took a major hit. Many had to close their doors permanently. So we have our boy, WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey, who talked to a husband and wife duo who got a helping hand from a major star. Jalen, some would say a queen.
Well, you may or may not have heard of Something Borrowed, located in downtown Greensboro. Like millions of other small businesses, they were hit hard by the pandemic. They specialize in flavored popcorn, party planning, and everything sweet. So how sweet it must have been to have one of the world's biggest stars lend a helping hand when they needed it most. Hezekiah and Lori Pogue are the owners of Something Borrowed Sweet Treats in downtown Greensboro. Like many other local small businesses, the coronavirus pandemic has taken a major bite out of business.
I felt like we could have gone out and got a scratch off and probably had a better chance.
So the couple got creative. They started applying for hundreds of small business grants, one of which was the Be Good Foundation. That's right. They reached out to Beyonce for help.
Yeah, so we actually did. We applied for the SBA loan and we were turned down because, we are very much a small business. Right. We didn't have a bunch of employees and some of the other requirements.
Well, it looks like they had the winning ticket. Something Borrowed was awarded $10,000 by the Be Good Foundation.
We found out that we were going to be a recipient of the grant on New Year's Eve, and I promise I probably dropped my phone and my mouth was open for like 10 minutes and he was like, babe, what's wrong? What's wrong?
That's a great way to start the year.
Yeah, great way to start the new year. Yeah.
So I wanted to know what they planned on using the money for.
Well, we're going to try to just utilize the money mainly for things for the shop. Even if it's just, our employees and rent,
light bill,
just keeping the shop up and running like it needs to be. Mm-hmm.
Well, although Something Borrowed was denied the federal assistance loan, Downtown Greensboro, Inc., as well as the Guilford County CARES Act were major help in keeping the shop's doors open as well. And they also had a special package of popcorn.
Look at that.
Assorted popcorn. We got hot wings and ranch for Maddie.
Yes.
Wow. I like the sweet stuff.
You want something sweet? We're going to give you either cotton candy or birthday cake. What you want?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Okay. Eric, you get nothing because you don't come to work.
You get nothing and like it, pal.
Okay.
That's fine. My reward is to sit right here and not have to deal with Jalen in person. That's my reward.
Wow. Okay, we got to stop fighting and talk about popcorn. Y'all are too much today. This is delicious. Hot wings and ranch.
Which one am I going to try?
That's what I would want.
So I just don't, I mean, don't be offended. I really want to eat this, but I have to read the roundup here coming up in like 30 seconds, so I can't eat any of it. But I got the cotton candy, and it looks really good.
I bet the Tri would appreciate it if I stopped crunching in this microphone.
I got the lemon, what is this, lemon pound cake?
Give it
I'm
a try.
super fan. We're going to see what happens.
Lemon.
It tastes like lemon pound cake.
So jealous.
Look at that. I'll take it.
And so what I love about that is that they've got like savory, but they've also got sweet. Because you've got the, which one do you have?
Hot wings and ranch.
And
What else
then
we got in
there's like, isn't there like a baked potato?
We got baked potato in here. We got salt and vinegar. What do we got? Gingerbread.
Oh, I like that.
I've got my eye on the Oreo.
Strawberry
cookies
cheesecake.
and cream.
It's a whole bunch of stuff in here, man.
And there's a candy cane one in there. It looks like they're like little bits of candy cane.
Well, I think we have all agreed that this is a great business concept, and we are glad that they were able to get some help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, Beyonce?
Bow down.
I mean,
Queen Bey?
Can you ask for anybody bigger or better?
I hope that she got some of this popcorn.
All right. Well, I'm going to let them eat, and I'm going to get to your 4 to 5
Do some work,
roundup
Chad.
here. Former President Trump's new political action committee brought in more than $30 million during the final weeks of 2020. The cash in Save America PAC is just a fraction of what Trump and Republicans hold in various accounts. Trump can contribute up to $5,000 from his leadership PAC to any candidate he chooses to support. He can also use the money to pay for rallies, travel, political advertisements, and other expenses. Snowplow drivers, boy, do they have their work cut out for them in the Northeast. They are working around the clock to clear the roads. More than 2 feet of snow has fallen in places like New Jersey, and more is expected today. In New York City, coronavirus vaccine appointments have been canceled and schools are fully remote for a second day. At least 2 people have died in the storm. One in a car crash, the other was an elderly woman with Alzheimer's who wandered away from home. Quarterback Tom Brady has taken more than 200 teammates to a Super Bowl. Brady will be on the field this Sunday with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a new team, but not a new game to Brady, who's appeared in 9 Super Bowls before with the New England Patriots. 218 teammates have helped out, and he'll add 40 new names to the list this weekend. 164 of those guys have gotten a Super Bowl ring.
Well, first I get compared to as a rodent, and then I get stuck outside with no popcorn. And a cold and windy day to be outside too. That's all right. I'll get my popcorn after the show. It is still windy and it is still cold, and that will continue as we go into tonight. And take a look at these max wind gusts so far today. We've had a 37 mile per hour gust recorded out at PTI, a 33 mile per hour gust over in Winston-Salem, and those winds still gusting to around 30 miles per hour. You can see those flags blowing real strongly in the breeze there on our camera in downtown Burlington. 46 in Burlington, and most everybody sitting in the upper 30s and low 40s, but with that wind, it feels like it's in the 20s and 30s, even around freezing in some places. Of course, not too much happening on the radar, just a few flurries flying around today. Most of that, though, has all subsided. The clouds are starting to clear out a bit as we go throughout the overnight hours and into Wednesday, too. Finally, we're going to get some bright sunshine back for tomorrow, but not before a cold night. Temperatures dropping into the mid-20s, but with the wind feeling like the teens overnight and into Wednesday morning. So bundle up, have that big coat, and have the gloves ready to go. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow. We will make it a little bit warmer into the upper 40s, but it's still going to be a breezy day of weather. Winds could gust around 25 miles per hour, feeling like it's in the 30s tomorrow. A couple dry days, and then we got another round of rain on the way for Friday. We'll dive into those details in your 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Chiltony, you are the resident techie here, right? So what smart speaker do you have? Because I know you have one. And then what is your favorite part about it?
We have 6.
You have 6?
I'm not lying.
Of course he does.
Yes, we have 6 in our house. I brought in mine from my nightstand, which has a handy little clock on it. My favorite thing, my favorite thing is this one. Computer, tell me a dad joke.
Your dad is so handsome. They put his face on Paul Newman's salad dressing.
There you go.
Okay, that is
There
such a
you
dad
go.
joke. All right.
That is.
So it obviously does more than play music, but I guess I really wasn't thinking about all the things that it could do. So I want all the folks at home, and you too, Chilton, to listen to this.
Here's the latest news from NPR at 1:30 p.m. Dog grooming.
Are you ready to start your daily workout?
10 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so it does all those things and more. Can a mere mortal actually program all these things, Eric?
So we use it for timers in the kitchen all the time.
Okay.
And you can name the timer. So if it's like even if it's like a video game timer for the kids, I can say the name, set a 5-minute timer for Tyler, and she'll call it a Tyler timer. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay, I just have to speak it into existence, and I hope that it'll work. We'll see. Okay, there are lots of bells and whistles, even folks who have had them for a while, they may not know about. So I want to take a look at Consumer Reports rundown of all the things that I liked that it could do, like set the multiple timers, add ingredients, add to a grocery list, help with your food prep questions. Your smart speaker can also control and connect your other smart devices to your speakers so that you can have one centralized hub for, let's say, your video doorbell. It can also stand in for a basic safety and security system.
Locking. Hang on.
The Alexa Care Hub is a great feature for loved ones that live alone. It allows you to monitor them and check in on them with a quick phone call or video chat.
Well, speaking of calls, we're talking robocalls, what is being done about them with North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein. He's leading the charge for new legislation. You can text him your questions about that and many other subjects. That's tonight, 336-379-5775.
You know, maybe you grew up with family game night or family movie night, but there's one with a different twist, and this is centering around the High Point Museum. It is pretty cool. I spoke with the museum marketing coordinator, Teresa Laughlin, about their virtual family game night. So Teresa, when I heard about this, first of all, I know you've been doing this and I feel like I've been in the dark. I missed it. This sounds like so much fun to do, but it's all virtual this go around, right? Explain what it is.
Well, for the past 5 years, this is our 5th year doing this, we've done family game night. And what we've done is we've invited the community to come to the High Point Museum and play board games, family-friendly games. Just have fun, play Twister, scavenger hunts, all sorts of things. This year, of course, we can't get together in person, so we're doing it all virtually.
So what can we expect? Because I saw on the list, I mean, you're doing bingo, you're doing a scavenger hunt. How does it all work?
So we've got 4 breakout rooms. You'll come and you have to register, pre-register, and we'll divide you into each room. And we're going to have 4 different rooms. We're going to have a scavenger hunt. We're going to play Jeopardy, a Jeopardy light, but it's going to be High Point focused, of course. Then we're going to play bingo, and we're going to have High Point's Got Talent. So we want you to come in and show us your talent. Tell us a joke. Just have fun.
Now, you told me you had props today, which Teresa always brings props. What do you have?
Okay, so for our scavenger hunt, which is High Point themed as we can make it, we want you to find things like, do you have a High Point Museum magnet? Or something with the world's largest chest of drawer on it? We'll bring those with you. Or even your favorite university, High Point University. So we want you to come and just have fun. I've got a great question for you, Eric.
You've got
this
what
is
for
for
me?
your Jeopardy. A question. This is to test your High Point history knowledge.
Okay, go.
Okay, this is your Jeopardy question. In this year, High Point was incorporated.
Oh, I'm going to say, I have no idea. I'm going to say, let's see, Greensboro. I'll say 1880.
Oh, no.
Too early.
1859.
Oh, I was close. I was actually close. All right, so that's an example of what
Yes.
I'm coming to this, and we're going to have fun, Teresa. Thanks for taking time.
Yes, we are.
I tell you why I'm tuning in. First of all, I know my High Point, I need to beef up on my history of High Point. But the reason I'm tuning in, I cannot wait to see a virtual High Point's Got Talent show. That's what I'm waiting for.
What would your talent be?
What would mine be?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'd love to try? I mean, I know that everybody would say, oh, you do the singing thing. I would love to try stand-up once in my life.
I think that this is a perfect opportunity to make that happen.
Can I virtually throw tomatoes at you?
Yes,
Why
you
make
can.
it virtual if we can just do it in person?
Because Chilton doesn't come to work.
That's true.
That's right.
Can we just throw them at your house? Can we just be outside your house and throw them at your house?
So now we have a legally hazed Christian. We're going to vandalize Chilton's property. What else are you going to do on television today?
I've got a blue tongue.
He's spinning in. Do it again.
It's because I ate that cotton candy popcorn, and it was so good I couldn't stop eating it. And I said, "Maddie, how are my teeth?"
I was like,
and she
white.
smiled, and
Blue.
she said, "Oh, they're fine." I said, "Well, how's my tongue?"
And I said, "Oh no, it is very, very blue."
This has been a wild afternoon. I'll tell you what. I really like the game night thing. I was really intrigued by all that, but I really like a good game of Monopoly, and nobody seems to like that. So I guess
They
I'll
have
play
High
by
Point
myself.
Monopoly.
Ooh.
If Teresa Laughlin is involved, it exists. She
like
makes anything happen.
She is great.
It's
And
true.
You
It
want to
is
know
true.
something, this is kind of a polarizing subject, but how do you pronounce the railroad that's R-E-A-D-I-N-G?
Reading.
Yeah, I said. I know some people say Reading, but
Yeah,
I say
if you're
Reading.
from Pennsylvania, you say Reading.
This is a town or a city?
I don't know.
Reading, Pennsylvania?
I think
Reading,
so.
Pennsylvania?
I'm
Yes.
not sure, but that's what they say. They say Reading Railroad.
I think it was actually named, wasn't it named after Atlantic City, New Jersey?
I have no idea.
Google that and let us know.
Just asking.
So many
always
rabbit
Googling.
holes that we've jumped down, some of them regrettably, this afternoon.
All right. We'll be back.
We're still here.
The Super Bowl weekend's main event is, of course, the actual game, but there are a lot of other things before, during, and after. WFMY News 2's Brian Bennett takes a look at some of the biggest celebrity names you'll see this year.
It's true. Some of the biggest entertainment of the Super Bowl doesn't even involve the game. Case in point, I'm talking the halftime show, the commercials, and of course, you can't forget about the national anthem. Doing the honors this year will be country star Eric Church and R&B songstress Jasmine Sullivan, both who are Grammy-nominated artists. All right, now this will be the first time that the two will pair up together, so fans should be in for a real treat. But how will they compare to some of the other most memorable Super Bowl national anthems of all time? I'm talking Mariah Carey, Cher, Faith Hill, Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, and of course, the cream of the crop, Miss Whitney Houston. Hey, some pretty big shoes to fill, but only time will tell.
I love that.
You know, everybody loves the halftime show. Even if I know people that don't like the game, that's what they talk about all the time, but I'm a huge football fan, and I absolutely love the halftime show, so I can't wait every year.
I do appreciate the national anthem, and I think that Whitney Houston's rendition of it is the best of all time. However, I'm always late to the Super Bowl party, so I always miss the national anthem because I'm still trying to get my appetizer
exactly
together.
Right.
Your appetizer or your outfit?
Both.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand.
Christian.
It's still all about the halftime show.
I just come for the food. The game's interesting. The halftime show's all right, but I come for the food. But I am always interested to see. I feel like I always wait till the last minute, and everybody seems to know who's doing the national anthem and who's doing the halftime show. And then I'm like, who's doing all this when I get there? I never seem to know who's doing what.
Well, this year,
Chad?
I mean, we've got, Eric Church, App State guy. Is that why you're wearing App State colors today,
That's right.
Christian?
Which accidentally, during that story, I said, I didn't know Eric Chilton was singing the national anthem.
No.
Different.
Hey, I looked it up. It is Reading Railroad because the Monopoly game was actually named after a railroad in Pennsylvania. Reading Railroad. Chad is right.
The more you know.
And I'm sorry, I feel like I just ruined it because I always said Reading Railroad.
It's knowledge we need to know.
All right.
Now you
Never
can be
play
that
Monopoly the
person
same
when you're
again.
playing Monopoly says, you're saying it wrong.
I can never play it the same again.
Can't wait.
All right, my 2 cents is coming up next. Stick around.
remotely. Hi, Callie. It's Alma. Yeah, I'll do a normal voice now. I'm sorry. We're out here. It's really freaking cold. It's really nice out, but it's also cold.
Hi there, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana.
Reading Railroad. Chilton, did you cheat and just ask one of your 6 speakers?
Hello. How do you spell my name? Gardner. That is how it is spelled.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right.
They make fun of me all the time for talking about food, but it's going to continue today, folks. I'm talking about traditional Southern foods, foods that are traditional to the South, and why. So I did a little digging, and thanks to our friends at HowStuffWorks.com, got all this figured out. Of course, the foods are traditional to different regions because they were plentiful there back in the day. So let's talk about pecans. Pecan pie, always around the holidays. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, I always wondered why around the holidays? Why did it become a thing then? Because the harvesting time for pecans is September to December, so it makes sense. Pecans are native to North America, especially, believe it or not, Texas and Mexico. I don't know about you, but I think of Georgia when I think of pecans. But they've been there a long time. In fact, the pecan tree was adopted as the state tree by Texas in 1919. There's useless trivia for you. Albany, Georgia, by the way, they call themselves the pecan, or pecan, however you say it, capital. 600,000 pecan trees around the Albany, Georgia area. Very good. Here's another Southern staple that I don't like, but a lot of people do. Boiled peanuts. I think you either love them or hate them. They're at picnics, they're at fairs, they're that kind of road trip snack we see. Usually when I'm going to South Carolina, I see a ton of them on the way to Myrtle Beach. Very plentiful peanuts, obviously, in the South, so that's why they were big. But believe it or not, they're just raw peanuts boiled in salty water. And it came about, they think, during the Civil War when soldiers would boil the peanuts in water in salt because it would preserve them longer, and then it just became a thing. So been around since at least the mid-1800s, and people love them or they hate them. It is something up for debate, that is for sure. There you go, 2 Southern foods and why they are so big in our area, whether you love them or hate them. That's just my 2 cents. And that's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Now it's time to get our children back into the classroom.
Governor Roy Cooper and state education leaders are calling on school districts all across North Carolina to allow in-person instruction for all K through 12 students.
The governor says new research shows that with proper health measures in place, in-person learning is safe. WFMY News 2's Alma McCarty joins us live with more on what this means for you.
Well, it's important to note that this isn't an executive order or a mandate from the governor. It's rather a strong suggestion and